What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and I'm back. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody who support me and who support this platform. Sheep Stay Sleep TV is very much appreciated. Much love to y'all, man. Before we get into the topic tonight, I'm gonna need y'all to make sure y'all like the show and share the show. Like the show and share the show. Also, if you would like to donate before the show begins, CashApp $Sheep Stay Sleep TV, or the Streamlab links will be in the chat room, or you could simply donate through the super chat. It's all love, y'all. Shout out to ID in the building. Shout out to my sis Poetic Cows. What up, Diva? What's going on? Good to see you, girl. What's going on? Devastation. What's going on, man? And tonight, we're gonna talk about, we're gonna pretty much do what I usually do over here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV, and that's, you know, go in. And when I say go in, I mean go within. So I posed a question as the title: Were you raised on survival or love? Were you raised on survival or love? And what made me come up with this topic was, and I'm gonna do a separate stream about this too. Either a stream or a video, I'm not sure. But I was watching Little Mo. I was watching her interview on the Breakfast Club, and she was she was talking about, you know um, her situation dealing with her ex, and her opioid addiction. Now, I would never think that, Lil Mo was addicted to pills and shit like that. But she was talking about it, and it just made me think, like, as you know, as a people, as us being who we are, man, how were we really raised? Like, because I notice as a people, we accept a lot of things that we shouldn't accept. You know, we take on certain things in our life that we shouldn't take on. We stay in situations that we shouldn't stay in. We put ourselves in situations that we shouldn't even be in. And why is it a constant, pattern? Like, why doesn't this shit change? Or why don't we see it change? Why is it a repeated cycle over and over and over? And it made me ask this question: Were we, or were you, raised on survival or love? How were you raised? Because, they always say it goes back to your childhood and how you were raised. But were you raised on how to survive, or were you raised on love? We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about that tonight because I was also raised on survival. And now I'm going to say this. I'm going to go ahead and clear this up for all the naysayers and the haters. Just because you grew up and was taught to survive, it doesn't mean that your parents didn't love you. Understand? We're not saying because you was raised on survival that, nobody loved you. That's not the case. But we going to break it down. So I see a lot of people say, they was raised on survival. They was raised on survival. Now, I was raised on survival, right? And being raised and being taught to have this survival mentality, what that actually denotes is it denotes that you're always fighting for something or fighting to get rid of something. You see? We shouldn't have been raised how to survive. We should have been raised how to live. See, when you young and your parents tell you certain things, or you grow up and you hear adults say certain things, we think this shit sounds philosophical and cool sometimes. Like, oh, I was raised on survival. And people make that shit seem like it's cool. But what is survival? Why why must you be raised to survive unless you feel like you're dying? If you were raised to survive, then that means that the person who's teaching you to survive is not living. They're surviving. And if they're surviving, that means they're surviving something from something that they've been fighting all of their life. And they're just happy to not be dead. You see? See, now that we're adults, we need to put things in context and actually understand the definitions of words. And don't just be saying shit thinking it's cute to say. Because it's good to have survival instincts, but being raised to survive, it can actually restrict you from living. Because if you're surviving, that means what? You're in a state where you probably can die or you're dying. You see? So that shit may sound cool when we're young because we really don't understand what it is. And a lot of times when you grow up struggling, Your parents come up with these things, they come up with these constructs to not only um teach you things, but they also come up with these things to kind of shield you away from not knowing how bad you may have it. You see? Parents do that. They tell their children certain things and make things out to be a certain way because they don't want what's plaguing them to affect the children, even though it is. They just find a way to dress it up. And the way they dressed it up was, I'm teaching you how to survive when you should have been teaching me how to live. But if your parents are not living and they're surviving, how could they teach you how to live? And see, when you're raised on survival, the love is different. The love is different. You know, it's a different type of love. And it's like the love is more just of a protective type of thing. Like, I love you, so I don't want you to go through this. I don't want you to see that me and your mother is struggling. You know? I don't want you to see, me and your mother's inadequacies, our shortcomings. And you know why they do that? Because they're actually afraid that they might not be loved anymore. If they actually were not able to shield you away from the struggle. Because, see, growing up, I grew up with my dad up until the age of what, 6? My moms and my pops was together. And do y'all know, I grew up eating shit like chicken backs. Y'all ever had chicken backs, rice and gravy? Not chicken breasts, chicken backs, sauteed in a pot with onions and green peppers and shit like that. As a kid, I ate those things. But the way, being that my parents dressed it up as, we're surviving together as a family, and this is what families do when they love each other, I never felt that we were struggling. That shit never popped in my head as a child. That never popped in my head as a child. Like, damn, I'm so messed up. But as I got older, I started to see, like, damn, we really was fucked up. Like, when I was a kid, my Christmas toys didn't come. Now, mind you, I'm the only child. My mother don't have any more children. My father don't have any more children. It's just me. Growing up, for Christmas, my Christmas gifts didn't come from KB Toy Store. My Christmas gifts didn't come from Toys R Us. You know where my Christmas toys came from? the local discount store. Or y'all remember back in the day, back in the 90s, where you could go in the corner store and they had a whole section where you could buy little toys and shit. That's where I used to get my toys from. Shit, not even Kmart back then. You know, ain't no Kmarts up north like that. You know, I grew up north. So you know, it's not a lot of Kmarts. My shit came from the local discount store. The same place where my moms go and get aluminum pans and shit from. You know, the 99-cent store before it was Family Dollar and Dollar Tree and all of that. You had your neighborhood discount stores that was owned by people. That's where I got my toys from for Christmas. But I didn't understand. I thought nothing was wrong with it. You know? I didn't see anything wrong with it. I didn't think anything was wrong until I got older. And I started looking back like, yo, we really used to, like, my mother will make a gourmet meal out of scraps. Chicken backs, rice and gravy. Eating sardines and crackers. This is this type of, I used to eat this shit with my pops as a little boy. Sardines with mustard on a cracker. No Kool-Aid, no Minute Maid juice, sugar water. Sugar water. No soda. Sugar water. No tropical fantasy. See, that stuff came later. The CNC sodas, the tropical fantasies, that came later. Sugar water. Sugar water. Grilled cheeses. Grilled cheese and soup. These are survival meals. This is the type of shit I was exposed to as a child and learned to accept that this was my way of life. And see, this is why it's not good to teach your children this. Because when they get older, they will keep that mindset of survival mode. When you're in survival mode, the parts of you that can help you grow and develop is suppressed. Because it's all about just making it to the next day. You lack vision when you're in survival mode because you only paying attention to what's in front of you and what's around you. You see no future. You begin to not dream anymore. You see? And then you wonder why we have a lot of hopeless youth out here because they were raised on survival. when you're raised on survival, you would never envision yourself being a millionaire. Because to be raised on survival, it's a certain mindset that comes with it. And that mindset is the mindset of lack. You are used to not having, and you accept that lack. You accept it. Because it's like, well, I got food, I got a roof over my head, my bills is paid, so I'm good. No, you're not, nigga. No, you're not. Because you know you're not happy. You know you want more out of life. You know you want more out of life. You always wanted more out of life. But you know what stopped you? That survival mentality. What do you think living from check to check is? That's survival. That's not living. That's surviving. That's like when you play in a fighting game and you win with a little ass corner on your energy bar. You got a little corner left and you win the match. That's what that is. Or you or you just happen to get the last hit before the time run out. That's survival mode. We've been in survival mode for too long. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking like, well, damn, DS1. Well, what do you want us to do, DS1? What do you want us to do? I want you to start to dream again. You know those dreams you had when you was a little boy? You know those dreams you had when you was a little girl? Begin to see yourself in another way. See, we love to get on here and talk this, the law of attraction. We love to talk about that shit. But how do we actually make the law of attraction work? It starts out with a vision. That's why they tell you to create a vision board. And on your vision board, you don't post things for survival purposes. You know what you post? You post things on your vision board that you dream of. Like that Maybach. Like that house on the water. You know that beach house? You know, you always, as a little girl, you always wanted to live on the beach. You know, like that pink convertible. You know, when you was a little girl and you used to play with your Barbies and you wish you had a pink convertible. You can get that in life. That don't just have to be fantasy. But coming from that mindset of survival, you like, man, fuck that pink convertible. I need to eat today. And you know what happens? You begin to think like that for the rest of your life, and you never get what you want out of life. So that means you've actually never lived life. Life lived you. You didn't live life. Life lived your ass. And see, we got to stop thinking that it's about that. We got to stop letting life live us. And like John Doe said, take it one day at a time. This is a process. Like Nipsey said, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're not saying that you're going to materialize your thoughts in 3 goddamn years, but it's possible to do that. We're not going to sit here and say it's impossible. But you know the people who say it's impossible? You know the people who always got doubt are the people who were raised on survival. Because you start thinking, well, if I start thinking like this, then I may have to stop doing something else. But see, it's 2020. We in a new decade. When is the paradigm for your life going to shift? When is it going to be your conscious shift? People always want to watch all these videos. Oh, the conscious shift in the universe. What about your consciousness shifting? And understand why it's hard for you not to make the shift. It's because you were raised to just survive, not live. See, you can't survive and thrive simultaneously. You can't do that. You can't do both at the same time. You can't. You can't survive and thrive. It's either one or the other. But see, we always got to go back to our childhood and how we were what? Programmed. Survival mode is a what? A program. It's a program that were implemented by your programmers. Who are your first programmers? Not the white man, not white supremacy, but your parents. Okay? Newsflash, your mommy and your daddy. Not SpongeBob. Okay? Not PBS Kids. Not the school teacher. Your mama and your daddy. They're your first programmers. They're the ones that expose you to all the shit you've been exposed to. Your parents. Who gave you that mindset of survival? Your parents. Where did they get that mindset of survival? Their parents. See, because on my father's side, my great grandparents were slaves. My grandfather was born in 1931. He grew up on them fields. He know. His parents were sharecroppers. My great grandfather, him and my grandmother, they had their own farms in the rural backwoods of Georgia. See? And it was all about survival. And that shit's passed down to me. Now, like I said, there's certain things you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn survival tactics because something may happen in the world where you may need to know certain shit. But I'm talking about being raised that way. It's a difference. It's a difference you going and taking some survival tactic classes. You know, where you go in and buy some professionals and they teach you some shit. That's different. You see? That's different. But see, if most of us was raised on love, then we would have been taught properly on the things to do to live life and not survive life, but to live. Why do you think Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam wrote a book, How to Eat to Live? He didn't write a book, How to Eat to Survive. Because you could survive off eating pig guts, nigga. You could survive off of eating goddamn McRibs from McDonald's. You can survive eating that shit. But can you live? That's why the book is called How to Eat to Live. Because what you want to do, you want to live or survive. Because if you survive, and that means you close to death. This is why you see so much miserable people on YouTube. Because they're surviving. They're surviving on those mental meds. They're surviving. They're not living. Some of these people, if YouTube was to shut down today, will die. I guarantee you. Don't laugh in the chat room either, because I'm not being funny. I'm trying to be serious. But I guarantee you, if YouTube was to shut their goddamn doors, a percentage of YouTubers will die. Literally, they will fucking die. Stop laughing, Aquamini. Stop laughing. Y'all stop laughing, man. But for real, I'm serious. Some people will actually die because this is one of their tools of survival. Do you know YouTube is the only outlet for people to talk for some people? Some people don't talk to people in their life. Some of these people don't leave their house. So their connection to the outside world is YouTube. They will wither away without this shit. Do you know how important social media is to this world? This shit is a survival tactic for some people, man. I mean, a survival tool. Excuse me. A survival tool. It's that real. And you know why they hold on to this shit the way they do? Because they can't sit down and deal with themselves because they wasn't taught to love themselves. Because if you grew up in survival mode, you grew up in panic mode, you ain't got time to focus on love. Love, love, love will just be a byproduct. Love will be a byproduct. And that's what it is for most of us. Why do you think nowadays most people not worried about marriage? They're not trying to be in no relationships because there's so much of us in survival mode. You got women out here saying, man, fuck loving that nigga. Can you pay the bills? Can you keep the goddamn heat on? It's cold, nigga. I'm hungry. Can you feed me? Then I think about loving your ass. Don't laugh, y'all, because I'm not being funny. I'm serious. This is for real, y'all. Don't laugh. I'm being serious. Why? But why you think shit is carried like that? Survival. When you in survival mode, you ain't thinking about love and development and growth and living. You're not in that mind state because what you actually are in, you're in a state of fear and panic. You're actually panicking. But a lot of us don't even understand that. You see? You got so much people, they unhappy in their life, they unfulfilled. You know why they unfulfilled? Because all their life, it was all about surviving. And now they 40, 50, 60 years old, and they realize they never had a chance to live life. And this is why you got a bunch of grown ass men and women on the internet trying to relive their youth. That's why you got grown ass women trying to be princesses. Your ass should have been a princess from the ages of 5 to like 10. You ain't gonna be no 40-year-old princess. Go sit down somewhere. But they do that. I understand why that's done. It's survival. It's 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 like a cry out for help. Because see, when you growing up in survival mode, sometimes you gotta grow up. Not even sometimes. Most of the times, You have to grow up faster than you supposed to. You got to grow up faster. You have to mature quicker. You have to begin to accept the harsh realities of life as a kid. See? And these things play out in various ways when you get older. See, growing up when I was young, I didn't have a lot of shit. My parents did the best they could with what they had for me. But a lot of things I wanted, I was told no, I couldn't have it. Or I had to wait to get it. But a lot of the things that I wanted, I couldn't get it. My parents couldn't afford it. No, no, don't even ask. See, my dad, he was a little more, you know, he was a little more strategic with how he said no. My mother was straight blatant. No, don't ask me. You know I ain't got no money. When we go in this store, don't even ask. No. Now look how this plays out when I'm an adult. Do you know I have trouble accepting gifts from people? I have trouble accepting gifts from people. This is why I'm so appreciative when y'all donate. And I know some of the other content creators that support my channel, that are bigger content creators. I know they be like, damn, why he keep thanking them like that? Like, they supposed to support you for your content. But that's because I grew up learning to hear the word no. Always coming from a space of lack. So when somebody want to give me something, it's hard for me to accept it. It's hard for me to accept that a person can genuinely want me to have something. Are y'all starting to understand where I'm going with this message tonight? This is a problem. You see? It's hard for me to be honest with when my lady asks me, what do you want? I I be having shit in my mind, but I be like, I can't tell you I want this shit. I don't tell her that. And she probably listening right now. But I can't tell her that's what I want. Cause I know we can't get it. We can't get this extra shit right now because we got children, we got a household, and we gotta maintain things until shit get better. But you know what I be thinking? Man, I might as well don't even ask for that shit. And and what they always say, a closed mouth don't get fed. But see, that's a problem for me. I don't know how to accept gifts. I don't know how to accept I don't know how to accept people for accepting me when it comes to certain shit. because of this survival mode that I'm in. When you're in survival mode, you quick to dismiss people. You quick not to ask for help. Like I'm one of those types. That's the kind of man I am. I suffer in silence. And it's because of that survival mode. Like, man, I gotta do this shit. I can't ask for help. I gotta do it. If I don't do it, it won't get done. And you might have a whole heap of people that's willing to help you. But you don't even see it because you blinded by survival mode. You may have people willing to help you get to the level you want to get to, that see your vision and willing to help. But you even question them because of that survival mode, man. See, when you raised on strictly love, pure love, not circumstantial love, but pure love, you're more accepting of people. See? You begin to accept people and not look at them with a side eye. Not thinking that they just trying to get something from you or trying to run your shit. You know why we think like that? That's fear. Survival is connected to fear. When a cat is backed in this corner, what does it do? It lashes out of fear. Because of what? It doesn't want to die. So it'll attack you to what? Survive. See, being raised out of pure love, you never feel backed in the corner. Because your mind is always clear and you're always vibrating with functional and positive thoughts. So you don't have anxiety. You're not depressed. All of these things come from survival. And then what do? You go and start to do things for you to escape. For you to escape the fact that you're just surviving. And when you find this tool, no matter what it is, you may use this to escape, to take you to that utopia, to bring you back to your dreams and things you used to dream about when you was a kid. That's why people drink liquor. That's why people smoke weed. That's why people pop pills. Why do you think so many musicians use drugs? Because the drugs put their mind in a space where they can relax and create. Because they're no longer in survival mode. they can just create. But when they not on them drugs, they fucked up. See, we have to begin to deconstruct what we were taught in order for us to realize what is really holding us back. See, people always try to say little fly shit. Or it's you holding you back. You. But what part of me? Be specific. They can't be specific. People always could tell you what's wrong with you. You see? Person can always tell you what's wrong with you, but they'll never sit up there and tell you what's wrong with them. They'll never tell you what's wrong with them and why they are the way they are and the things that they deal with and wrestle with. But they'll just tell you what's wrong with you and what you need to fix. But yeah, that little Mo interview, man, I'm like, damn, what was she actually dealing with? You know? That shit was crazy. And that's what made me come up with this topic tonight, y'all. So, I'm not going to be long tonight, y'all. I just wanted to come and share that with y'all. And shout out to y'all that's in the building right now. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the like button. Share the show out. You would like to donate. Cash App $SheepStaysLeepTV. Shout out to everybody who's donated so far. If you like the show, go ahead and donate $SheepStaysLeepTV on Cash App, one word. Or you could donate through the Streamlabs. The link is in the chat room. I'm going to go ahead and get some shout outs. And I'm going to wrap it up for the night, y'all. Aquamini, you silly. Shout out to my man John Doe in the building. Shout out to Diva, man. Shout out to Diva. Shout out to my man Mr. Sutton, man. Yeah, you know, bro. You know. You know, cause we from the concrete, bro. You know, we know. John Doe say it's natural to feel fear and anxiety, but an emotionally mature person is willing to do it anyway. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's natural to fear things, to fear the unknown, but I wouldn't say it's not natural to have anxiety. Because when you have anxiety, that's like an extreme level of fear to where you become paralyzed, like you can't move. So I'll agree with half of that, John Doe. I'll say to fear the unknown, meaning you don't know what may occur, that's natural. It is. But to have anxiety isn't. I believe to have anxiety, that's another level of fear. You know, it's a bit extreme, you know? Yes, survival is attached to fear. Right. Yeah, that's a fact, John Doe. That's a fact. Because you always in fear of that this person may not get it done. So you carry the burden and log all the weight, which is not healthy. It's not mentally healthy, dog. Brenda, what's going on? Welcome. She'll give you that look, huh? She'll give you that look. I appreciate that, Diva. You a great promoter, Diva. You are a great promoter. Somebody need to own a club or some shit and have you just promoting. You promote your ass off. You and you and my sis Poetic Kels, y'all, man, boy, y'all pack a club out so goddamn much. Y'all had a line 2 blocks down with y'all promotion. Yeah, there go night night, bro. Is you crazy? People will be committing suicide. They couldn't get on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and shit. People will be committing suicide, bro. People will be committing suicide, bro. Bishop SSTV. So I'm a bishop now. Y'all crazy. Facts. Facts, Aquamini. Preach, pastor. Shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight, man. Much love to y'all, man. Shout out to my brother Deep in Thought in the building, man. Go Hard Black. What's going on, bro? That's beautiful, Aquamini. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. You didn't take those meds and you just prayed through it. That's beautiful. That's true, John Doe. You absolutely right. Absolutely right, man. That is part of leadership. It is. You don't want to end up like Dame Dash. You could look at Dame Dash and see they wearing him down. And it's because what you just said, John Doe. He's not good at delegating responsibilities and having the right people around to execute them. So he always feel like he got to do everything himself. And that shit adds extra, extra stress. That's why now when you see him, he can't even do an interview, without smoking a joint in order to relax. That's real shit. Yeah. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight, man. Can't stay too long tonight. Much love to y'all. I appreciate all the love and the support. If you just tuning in, man, y'all gonna have to catch the playback. Sorry about that, but y'all gonna have to catch the playback. This is DS1 Ross of Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Hit that like button if you're new here. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I go live. This is DS1 Ross of Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And remember, y'all, we got to heal before we build. We got to heal before we build. Let's start teaching survival tactics. Let's raise our children on love and not survival. On love and not survival. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.